Hey, everybody, welcome back to 22 Panels. This is the podcast that aims to examine, explore, and elevate the medium of comics. I am Tyler, and across the interwebs is Tad and Phil. How's it going, guys?
Oh, it's going.
Were the thwips good or
That
were they
was
okay?
no, that was solid. Yeah, yeah, we heard him.
Okay, all right.
Yeah, it's you're swipping,
It's the
Tad.
must if the mustache is in the way, tell me, because I mean I know it's like
Well, I think between I think your headset change up amplified your beard acoustics because yeah, it's definitely Tad is kicking us with is that a bendy or an action figure of
It's the
Luffy?
action figure.
Action figure. Okay, yeah, I couldn't see the joints exactly. Oh, he comes in half.
oh, that's cool.
Wow.
Well, only because it's got that middle
That
joint,
pin, yeah, that.
ball joint. Yeah.
Yeah,
Interesting. That's not a he. I was gonna say I have to imagine that he does not ever go in two pieces in one
I
piece.
don't think so.
Yeah, that'd be odd.
Not yet.
Yeah,
nope. He just stretches, right?
from the gummy fruit. That's what I remember.
Yeah, the gum fruit.
But you
Uh,
know me, I do lots of pitching, and I figure he's one of the ones that would like really rear back to
Oh
throw a
yeah.
fastball.
Oh yeah. He would
Lean,
probably
lean,
like loosen up
lean,
an arm and get real
lean
crazy with it.
yeah.
back,
Can you
like
imagine him
full
doing the windup?
extension. Right.
He'd probably have a
Right.
simultaneous arm and leg wind up.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Also, because I finally unpacked it from C2E2 because I talked to Olivia Quartaro Briggs this week. Uh, Luffy and Miles have been using
Oh,
their Jill and the Killers skateboard
nice.
quite a
Oh,
bit
that's
lately.
awesome. That's
That is pretty
awesome.
cool.
Is that a tech deck or is that a specific
Yeah.
brand?
I don't know if it's a specific brand, but it's a good quality one.
Yeah. Awesome.
So yeah. Yeah, yeah. So Phil, you get to start the news
You
this
could
week.
lead
This
off.
is this is your thing.
Yeah, it was. Well, so last week we talked a little bit about Kickstarter's policy change, and over this past week they actually did get enough feedback from it that they apologized to their user base and creators, saying that they botched the rollout of it and they didn't explain things right. And as we had surmised, the pressure was coming from Stripe, the payment processor, and now they're going back to basically how things were before, which, while also in that apology posting like three or four guides how to put your project on Kickstarter and hopefully not get it taken down by Stripe. So, it's an evolving situation, and I saw that as a good signal. I think the CEO
Hmm.
even said that he's going to fight like hell for this one because the way that it was rolled out last week was not in alignment with their beliefs at all. So, it was a good moment to see a corporate apology actually feel like it, and seem like, wow, okay, these people probably do want to do things different and better. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
That's it. Like I like that. We let it hang there to make you feel uncomfortable.
Right.
Have,
I mean,
I care just as much as I cared last week.
that sounds about right.
oh man, that's funny. What's
Actually,
this?
do either of you listen to Pod Save America?
No.
No, no.
Okay. So this week the governor of Colorado commuted the sentence of
Yep,
the
I did.
the the lady that had election um had a 5-year sentence for election fraud because she'd stolen voting machines.
Yep.
Huh.
Um and like huge numbers of people were all up in arms about it, etc. And um
Yeah, that doesn't seem like one of those innocent crimes.
T Tommy Viator was essentially um honestly, I don't give a shit. It's just below my radar. There's too much other stuff going on. I don't have the bandwidth for it. And John Favreau was like, I might have an even less popular opinion than Tommy because I think an argument could be made that it was the right move. We're always talking about lower sentences for people who our first time offenders of nonviolent crimes. And besides, now we can stop talking about this bullshit shit. He didn't pardon her. She's still a felon. And then John Lovett was like, I might need to join the Bulwark because the Bulwark had done up a huge piece on how it was horrible. Um, so I feel like on this issue, I'm the I don't give a shit guy, bordering
Okay.
on they might have done the right thing. Um, because here's the thing, like I can't believe I'm taking this to spend a little bit more time on it, but it's how my brain works. If they hadn't done anything
You
if
Feeling
it
give the most
first
shit.
come
You
from
give the
feeling
most shit
Stripe,
about the things
iron.
that you don't give a shit about.
We're not talking if you know.
and I know. If it had started from Stripe rather than Kickstarter, that would have been
Hmm.
worse. So did they do it as well as they could have? No. But what would have been worse is if some campaign was successful, but then the funds didn't come through because Stripe said no.
Well, I think that has happened in the past, and that's what Kickstarter
Has
is
it?
trying to. Yeah, that's what they mentioned,
Okay.
in that they're they were posting guides to help creators avoid those possibilities, and so they
Okay.
were changing. They were
Well,
announcing.
there hadn't been big, huge Stripe fucked my campaign stories yet.
I
So
hadn't heard a ton of them, but I mean there have been times where campaigns have to go on hold or push back suddenly, and it might have been I mean they talked about how there are times that Stripe would suddenly reverse approval on things, how they would approve it
yeah,
at one point and then unapprove it after a certain other point. So it's
right.
one of those things where even
But
if we
that's where
haven't.
Kickstarter has to do something, and like
Yeah.
what to do is hard because they're not the one making any of the policies.
Yes, and so that's why I'm saying that this seemed like a good apology and like an immediate rollback,
Right.
along with them saying like, "Hey, here's the actual issue. Here's what we're doing to try to help people with it in the meantime."
Right.
And so the tone was totally different. It's one of those things where it it restored faith in the company, and that's which is not something I say terribly often about companies, but
I
yeah.
mean, really, the only time I lost faith in Kickstarter was when they started talking NFTs, and then they backed
Oof.
off of that. So,
Yeah. So I mean, here's the thing. I will always
but that was because
prefer
they lost their key creators when they started talking blockchain.
exactly.
That's when Iron Circus did a
Hmm.
crowdfunding campaign without them.
Hmm.
That's when a couple other big regular contributors did campaigns without them.
Oh
They
yeah.
went, "Oh, we're not the only game in town." So,
Yeah.
uh, and similarly, I only kind of care business news, but it's significant and it'll be interesting to see where it leads. Um, Publishers of both Marvel and Boom have moved on, so we've got some shakeup at the top. This goes along with Mike Richardson at Dark Horse recently moving on, so we've got a lot
There'll
of recent shakeup at the
be
top
some change
of
on the horizons, but I don't
um,
know.
and for
Like you
that and
said,
for that matter,
I
with
barely care.
yeah, with the Paramount deal likely to go through soon, it'll be interesting. I mean, like, I don't care until I see what happens. With the
Hmm.
possible exception of Richardson, none of these guys have like enough of an industry track record that I believe. I mean, Dan Buckley's a good guy, you know. But like Heidi McDonald was essentially reporting that, oh, he seemed more relaxed at the Kirby dedication. Maybe this is why. Maybe he was
Hmm.
ready to be gone.
Yeah. My thought is, I mean, do they announce who's coming to those positions? Basically,
Uh, it
as
it
long as.
I don't know for certain at Boom.
Mhm.
At Marvel, it looks like Kevin Feige's getting to put his guys in place,
Oh,
which could
interesting.
actually wind up being a thing because during
Hmm.
the Perlmutter years, and Perlmutter is like
Oh yeah, he was terrible.
a true piece of human garbage.
Hmm.
Um, and understandably, Feige and most people don't get along with him well.
Hmm.
So, like one of the things Heidi had mentioned, and I don't know if she's done the deeper dive that she said she was planning to do yet, is that it kind of looked like the beginning of or the end of the power struggle that started in those years, where
Hmm.
Feige finally got it so that look, I know that I'm going to be able to work with the people on the comic side rather than
Need
I
a
don't know
go-between.
who's one of Ike's guys, who's whatever.
Yeah, that's one
This
of
is
those
not to say
things.
that Dan is one of Ike's guys, because I don't want to say anybody's one of Ike's guys.
That was
Um,
what I was getting at. Is I didn't know that he had anyone who liked him in the comics industry.
yeah, I don't know that he does, but he definitely had people who worked with him and like he had some interesting work. You never know. Like one of the things I think about a lot in a general sense is like how much Reaganomics has
Hmm.
just become economics for certain
Oh yeah.
age group of people. How much of the stuff that has no basis in fact, reality, any sort of research, whatnot, but was really, really popularly said in the early 80s is just taken as fact by a certain generation. Um, because they've rejected the bigger things and not realized that the bigger things were being backed up by these smaller things. They thought the bigger things were the wrong answer to these smaller falsehoods. But in fact, the smaller falsehoods only existed so that they could have the big wrong answer. Does that make sense? Um,
Yes.
but that falls more into hey, did you know that even some Republicans aren't okay with the president having a $1.776 billion slush fund?
AKA Treason
Whoa.
Apology Fund.
A treason apology fund.
They
Yeah.
left town rather than funding ICE. They left town rather than like they couldn't get the votes in the House to not like they passed in the Senate a bill that would have ended his ability to um it's the word I'm looking for, execute the Iran war.
Mm.
And they knew they didn't have the votes in the House to shoot it down. So the House went home early rather than passing the law that would have ended the Iran war. So the House is still kind of on his side, except that obviously not because they had to leave home or they had to leave to avoid passing a bill. Um, the Senate left early because they refused to pass ICE funding
Mm.
Hmm.
that the House had passed.
No,
Um,
that's one.
so
That's one does.
I mean,
after having a like 3 hour closed door meeting with Todd Blanche that seemed to have them more upset, not less upset with the whole slush fund thing.
Yeah.
mhm.
Crazy.
Yeah.
Well,
The,
So,
well,
the
as usual, it's always a clusterfuck here in the United States.
and
oh yeah.
I saw a clip of Blanche on I forget if it was CNN or Fox. It'd be even funnier if it was Fox, but he'd been introduced as Trump's former personal attorney and the acting attorney general, and he got all pissed off. You don't have to say that first part. That first part's irrelevant. I'm the acting attorney general. Show me respect, blah, blah, blah. And they're sitting there going, no, the first part is not irrelevant because
Hmm.
generally in the history of the United States, the fact that you were his personal attorney would make you pretty much ineligible to be
Right.
attorney general. That would have been the first question in hearings and the last question in hearings.
truly a
Anyway, we have a
Yeah.
brand new catalog with some really good looking stuff in it. Tyler, you want to lead us off with this series?
Yeah, Batman Bad Seeds. This is Sunset #1 from Matt Fraction, G. Willow Wilson, and Giuseppe Camuncoli and Cliff Rathburn. Uh, Gotham City's new mayor, Pamela Isley, deserted by her allies, both political and arcane, is about to make a last-ditch power play that will leave Gotham decimated by daylight. Having already declared war on the Bat family and flooded the streets with his private paramilitarized police army, Police Commissioner Vandale Savage sees an opportunity to solve two problems at once. Storylines converge in Batman Bad Seeds, a Gotham City event spanning one long dark night in Gotham that threatens to turn the entire city into a hostile world of prehistoric plant life, unlike anything on Earth for a millennia, at a time when its greatest heroes are hunted and in hiding. As the sun goes down and Gotham loses power. ... I should have pre-read that. Check it out. It's on, of course, DC. Final order cutoff is August 3rd and will be in shops August 26th.
All right. Next up, we've got Kachu #1 from Iman Vellani and Mariana Ignazi, and colors by Jordi Belair from Image. 1979. Layla, a 19-year-old Pakistani Canadian girl, stands on the cusp of adulthood, eager to experience the real world for the first time. With a head full of Hollywood dreams and a penchant for pulp novels, she ventures to California to connect with her estranged uncle, her Kachu, a middle-aged, semi-retired private eye who gained brief fame after marrying the starlet he was initially hired to find. But when Kachu's wife goes missing once again, the two are forced on an impromptu road trip to track her down, with Layla navigating young adulthood and Kachu confronting his own mortality and regrets. And that's going to have a final order cutoff of July 13th, in stores August 5th, once again from Image Comics. After that, we've got another one from Image that is Hammer Fist #1 from Rick Remender and Steve Epting and Matt Hollingsworth. Meet Mike Denton, a dirtbag hitman, junkie, and absentee father who spent his life chasing the easy fix, drugs, cheap sex, and murder for money, while failing the one person who still believes he can be better, his daughter. Now, on the eve of black noon and ancient darkness that erases the light in all things, Mike has to drag himself out of the gutter, awaken a supernatural weapon powered only by love, and fight his way through the living embodiment of evil to save her. It's going to have a final order cutoff of August 3rd, in shops August 26th from Image Comics.
All right. Tad still doesn't get to talk, but we're at midnight. Midnight X-Men #1 from Jonathan Hickman and Matteo Delafonte from Marvel. The clock strikes midnight, and it's the dark dawn of a new era. The shadows of New York City are stalked by vampires and the mutant empires. The sword of Damocles hangs over the peace between these two species and the factions within them. An outright war is brewing, and the unturned will be caught in the crossfire. Blockbuster comic book writer Jonathan Hickman returns to the X-Men with a hunger for blood as this new world of terror reimagines the heroes of the Marvel Universe. Final order cutoff will be July 6th, and this will be in shops August 5th.
Money Shot, The Fuck Offs, #1 from Tim Seeley, Patton Oswalt, and Garth Graham. It had to happen in the grand tradition of Secret Wars, Crisis of Absolute Proportions, and Battle of the Network Stars comes a massive cosmic crossover. The strange force has returned after millennia to gather the finest champions from across the galaxy to compete in grand games. But there's no fighting here. No, this is the fuck offs. Some will win, some will lose, and everyone will come. This is from Vault Comics. Final order cutoff is July 6th, in stores on August 5th. And finally, Six of Us, #1 from Tom King and Gabriel Hernandez Walta. Chapter 1, The Thing About Me Dying. Six actors built America's favorite sitcom. Millions tuned in. Billboards lit the sky. Then one of them died. A beloved cast member of the hit ensemble sitcom dies under mysterious circumstances, sending shockwaves through Hollywood and revealing the secrets, betrayals, and desires lurking beneath the glittering facade. As the surviving cast members confront their past, old rivalries and hidden truths emerge, and the fine line between life and performance begins to blur. This is from Dark Horse Comics. Final Order Cutoff is August 3rd, in stores on September 9th. Some graphic novels.
We've got first up is Conquest of the Cosmos by Alexandra Fontaine-Rousseau and Francis Descharnay. Over at Pow Pow, a wild ride into the depths of outer space as the heights of hubris. October 4th, 1957, the launch of Sputnik, a piece of orbital space junk that goes beep beep, kicks off a battle for celestial supremacy between the USSR and the USA. Rival superpowers armed with massive rockets, galaxy-sized egos, and zero chill. Over the course of a decade, scientists, politicians, and regular folks on both sides of the Iron Curtain grapple with the big questions. How do you convince a dog to volunteer for a one-way trip into orbit? Wouldn't it be easier to just fake the whole moon landing thing in a movie studio? And how are we supposed to sell commemorative t-shirts and coffee mugs if we don't get the sweet logo designed ASAP? It's going to have a final order cutoff of July 13th, in shops August 26th, again from Pow Pow.
Awesome. Awesome. All right. Disciples of the Soil from B. Muir, out from on Avery Hill. When the Prime Minister announces a new rail line in Ismaier, there are protests from the wizards, who are concerned about the country's magic, from the naturalists, who fear the damage to the soil, plants, and animals, and from the Sisters of Our Lady who slumbers under the earth, who would prefer their giant serpent deity to rest peacefully. As the railway proceeds, the worries of the wizards and the naturalists come to pass, and the earth has begun to shake. This has a final order cutoff of July 13th and will be in shops August 12th. Ted, you got some instant noodles.
Do Instant Noodles and Beyond from Robin Ha. This fun and unique cookbook meets graphic novel is a love letter to instant noodles and their infinite versatility as a starting point for a satisfying, nutrient-packed meal. Filled with Robin Ha's playful and colorful illustrations and imaginative instant flavor combinations, Instant Noodles and Beyond easily elevates your bowl or cup of noodles with easy-to-follow-through detailed visual recipes that leave no room for cooking confusion, plus amusing anecdotes and comic strip-style essays. Explore the world of instant noodles from Japanese ramen and Korean ramyeon to Southeast Asian noodles and mac and cheese, plus recipes to make instant noodle besties like kimchi, pickled radish, chili oil, and a marinated egg. Robin shares her favorite flavor combinations, transforming packets into kimchi, shigai, carbonara, pozole, shrimp Alfredo, mapo tofu, okonomiyaki, a sheet pan dinner, or even carrot or kale salad. And thinks completely outside the box with instant noodle French fries, Rice Krispie treats, and even Chex Mix. Perfect for a busy or lazy night, beginner or ambitious cooks, and especially lovers of instant noodles. This unique cookbook is sure to become a staple in your kitchen as much as instant noodles are. I have been eating a lot of instant noodles lately, so this caught my attention quite a bit. Islands in the Sky. I have plugged the hell out of this, and I'll continue plugging the hell out of this. A People's History of Hurricane Helene by Andrew Iden, Brian Michael Bendis, Matt Fraction, Steve Orlando, Gene Lewin Yang, Josh Adams, Valentine Delandro, June Kim, Nate Powell, and more. The story of Hurricane Helene is told by those who survived. Islands in the Sky brings those stories to life by pairing real survivors with award-winning comics creators to preserve what happened and help the region recover. This project, the first from Appalachia Comics Project, an imprint of Good Trouble, is part record, part resistance, and part recovery. It's a testament to the power of community and creativity to bring healing and preserve the truth, but about one of America's deadliest and costliest national disasters. Final order cutoff is June 29th. In stores August 5th. Instant Noodles, the final order cutoff was July 27th, and in stores August 26th.
All right, second book by B. Muir. This is Terrible Means, out on Avery Hill. In the city of Ismar, something is stirring. An aristocratic businessman reveals the latest must-have, a pillar of crystals. The latest what? I'm not sure. A pillar of crystals that allows for the creation of beautiful illusions and powerful spells to be performed. At the same time, Henriette, a disgraced biology professor, feels the disquiet in the air as specimens she has studied for years begin inexplicably dying out. On traveling to Ismire to warn the current prime minister and council of an imbalance within the world's ecosystem and magic, she encounters a young magician called Niklas, who is there for a very different reason. Alongside a crew of ex-academics and inhabitants of smaller surrounding villages, Henriette and Niklas work together to uncover the strange imbalance being created in the world. This is final order cutoff of July 13th and will be in shops August 12th.
Next up, there's Unfinished Tales, a graphic novel from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. Finnegan Blake is one of the most successful authors in the world, but he can't enjoy all the fame and fortune anymore because Finn is 10 years past his deadline on the final book in his epic fantasy series and has no hope of ever finishing it until an old friend shows up with the perfect solution to his writer's block. But their pact soon turns dark as egos clash and old secrets emerge, leading Finn to wonder exactly what kind of deal he's made and how far he's willing to go to get his final book onto the bestsellers list. Most writers would kill for Finn's life. Will he? It's going to have a final order cutoff of June 29th, in stores November 11th from Image Comics.
It's not hyperbole to say that this is the book that I am most looking forward to this summer. I have read the first third of it. I am anxiously awaiting the final two-thirds. Worst Man from Brandon Stein. Titan Comics, a professional worst man, Radcliffe Raleigh, is hired by the mother of the bride and merciless tech mogul Valentina McElligott to stop the wedding of her youngest daughter. With the price of failure being his life and less than 30 hours till I do, Rad's ready to pull out every trick in his arsenal to stop the wedding and save his skin until he meets best man and beefcake, Chris Kafka. Determined to keep the best man close for purely professional reasons, Rad quickly realizes he may be on the wrong side of the aisle, and the only mistake needing to be rectified is of his own making. But with six sick guests, a ruined dress, and the smell of a conspiracy wafting from the Valovents, is it too late for Radcliffe to get the ceremony back on track? From Titan Comics, final order cutoff is August 3rd, in stores on August 26th. How about some
All right.
collections?
Yes, collections. I'm looking forward to this one, so that's why I picked it. Hank Howard, Pizza Detective, Volume 1, A Slice of Life from Robert Venditti and David Lapham from Bad Idea. Hank Howard is back in the one place he thought he'd finally left behind, his hometown of Tampa. But unfortunately for Hank, pizza crime doesn't take a vacation. Before he knows it, he's knee deep in his first homicide case, facing down lawyers, locking lips with a long lost flame, punching pirates, and dodging bullets as he races against time to solve his first ever homicide case. Final order cutoff of July 6th and will be in shop August 5th. And let me tell you, this has been really fun to read in issues.
Oh, I love Hank Howard.
Phil, if you're not reading Hank Howard Pizza Detective, it's really funny.
I have the complete hardcover already
You do?
because it was kickstarted.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. Peep Show. Joe Matt at Fanagraphics. Luffy just fell apart.
Aw, Luffy.
I dropped his head on the floor. Well, really the top half of his torso. Okay, that's better. Now we're good. Few comic book series can claim to have influenced a generation of cartoonists, comic fans, and comedians the way Joe Matt's Peep Show did during his 14 issues from 1992 to 2006. With an often alarming and always hilarious compulsion to confess, Matt found no aspect of his life that wasn't more grist for the humor mill. His dysfunctional and sometimes abusive relationships, his Catholic repression, his horrible social skills, his addiction to pornography, his masturbation habits, etc. This book collects for the first time the entire original 15-issue series in one hardcover volume, each presented as painstakingly restored facsimiles of the original issues. The definitive Joe Matt collection also includes other art and ephemera from the artist's personal archives, including a handwritten introduction to a complete Peep Show collection that at the time was purely hypothetical and was only discovered after his death in 2023. Peep Show is rounded out with an insightful afterword by Diana Schutz and the Will Eisner Hall of Fame comics writer and the Will Eisner Hall of Fame comics writer and editor and longtime friend of Matt's and sister of Trish, Matt's ex-girlfriend and a key player in Peep Show's cast.
All right, and last up we have Voyeur by Leah Williams and David Baldean over at Ignition. The sexiest comic of the year is finally collected, and we promise this climax will be worth the wait. A lavish resort, a dangerous beauty, a security guard who can't keep his eyes to himself, and a heist like no other. Voyeur is a steamy art heist like nothing else on the shelves. Gonna have a final order cutoff of July 6th, in stores August 11th.
All right, final order cutoff for this week, due on Monday, June 1st. We've got Batman The Long Halloween, The Last Halloween collection edition from Jeff Loeb and various artists, out from DC on August 25th. Bloodwire, #1 from Paul Allor and Hermedes Blanco from Mad Cave, out June 24th. Click from Kayla Miller, out from HarperCollins on July 1st. The Dingoliath one-shot from Robert Venditti, Brockton McKinney, and Mannix Abrera, out from Bad Idea on July 1st. The Eye Collector #1, and I just read in advance of this. Fuck, is it trippy? From Jonathan Ball and GMB Chamachuk at Image Comics, out on June 24th. Fear of Death, a Rachel Rising story from Terry Moore at Abstract Comics, or Abstract Studio, out on July 8th. This is oh God, what's the main character in Serial? Do you remember who I'm talking about, Tyler? The girl, the
In
little
Serial,
girl. She's in Rachel Rising too. The
I
girl.
know, I know, I know
Yeah,
the
this is
character.
like her origin story. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Um, Foundation's one shot from the Three Worlds, Three Moons universe from Jonathan Hickman, Nick Spencer, Mike Del Mundo, and Mike Huddleston, out from Dark Horse on July 8th. Heaven from Katie Skelly at Fantagraphics. Final order cutoff is obviously June 1st. I didn't delete that part. In stores July 8th. An Iranian Metamorphosis from Mana Neastani at Uncivilized, out on July 1st. Kirby's Lessons for Falling in Love from Laura Gao at HarperCollins, out on July 1st. Laser Quest from Harry Nordinger at Floating World, out on August 26th. Museum of Mistakes from Julia Wirtz at Uncivilized, out on July 1st. Operation Iron Coffin #1 from Kenny Porter and Terrell Cannon at Dark Horse, out on July 8th. The Rocketeer Infiltrator #1 from Gabriel Hartman and Dean Kotz, out from IDW on July 8th. UK in a Bad Way and other stories from James Harvey at Living the Line, out on July 8th. Very Bad at Math from Hope Larson, out from HarperCollins on July 1st. Witness Point #1 from Nathan Fillion, Heath Corson, and Sue Lee, out
Is
from
it
Dark Horse on
that Nathan Fillion,
it is
the actor?
on July 8th.
Okay.
Wanton Soup from James Stocco, out from Oni on June 24th. And Wrestle Heist, out from Kyle Starks and Vladimir Popov at Image Comics on July 8th. And I'm going to let somebody else read the crowdfunding, though I have or will talk to all of the people involved in these projects by Tuesday.
That's awesome.
Wow.
Phil, you want to read them, and I'll get the
Yeah,
humble bundles.
sure. First up, there's Lab Zero Remix, a comics magazine hacking pop culture from Ronald Wimberly, on Kickstarter through June 9th. Tad just talked to Ronald
Yep.
before talking to
I
us.
got done talking with Ronald at about 5 o'clock.
So yeah, whenever that gets posted, definitely go listen to that one. Wimberly is totally awesome artist.
Good
Next
chance that
up,
it'll be up by the time this one is.
there you go. That one Matt Boers comic from Glenn Fleischman and presumably Matt Boers on
Mhm.
Kickstarter through June 11th. Then there's
I'm talking to them on Tuesday.
talking to them on Tuesday. All right. Stellar Remnant #2 from Damon Jord Hampton on Kickstarter through July 15th.
Also talking to him on Tuesday.
It's a big Tuesday. Then The Forgotten Divine from Mark Russell, Russ Braun, and Ahoy on Kickstarter, launching soon.
We've already talked to Mark Russell and Russ Braun, and we talked to Tom Pyre and Stuart Moore at Ahoy.
It's a double whammy there. And then Tezuka, God of Manga from Jason Cohn.
Tezuka. I
Tezuka.
learned this. Tezuka.
Tezuka. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known before I watched the trailer for this either. This is
Gotcha.
actually this is a documentary film.
Okay. When did you or will you talk to Jason
I
Cohn?
talked to him last week.
Okay. And then there's Scar Tissue Bargains from Stephen Fox, also launching soon on Kickstarter.
And I talked to him last week.
All right, there we go. And with
All right.
that, Tyler, what's on Humble Bundle right now?
Humble bundles. We've still got the complete Terry Moore, and that's not to sound like that's, oh man, we still got
No,
it.
that's good.
But that's a good thing.
They keep extending it. And if you
Um,
haven't picked yours up yet, you really, really should.
Correct. It's
As
got
you should with the
ev-
next two. The next two are fantastic
it's got the back to the
bundles.
Terry Moore. It's got everything on it from the Terry Moore universe.
The
It's 54
Terryverse.
the Terryverse, excuse me, the 54 items for $16. It goes to the World Central Kitchen, and it's extended till May 28th. A few days left to get in on that. Infinite Dead horror comics from Oni Press. This includes stuff like
Infinite
Dwelling.
Dread.
What did I read?
Dread. There's an R. You said dead.
Oh, Infinite Dread horror comics from Oni. $18 gets you 23 different items, such as Cemetery Kids Don't Die, Dwellings,
Don't
and
die. So they wouldn't work very well in the Infinite Dead. It's got to be Dread because
or
the cemetery kids don't die.
you are so correct. Book Industry Charitable Foundation is where that's going.
Also,
Going,
Dwellings, which you love, and
yeah,
Meat Eaters, which I love.
yeah, going till June 6th. Um, Last, we've got Hot Mess Express, a big bundle of misfit heroes and hilarious hijinks from Image Comics. You get 49 items for $18. Things like God Hates Astronauts, I Hate Fairyland, Monkey Meat, goes to the Book Industry Charitable
What do you
Foundation.
have against Shirtless Bear Fighter, 8 Billion Genies, and Snot Girl?
Well,
Something.
Snot Girl was really good, but I had to drop it.
You didn't
Really?
like
Why?
the
What?
last volume?
I mean, I haven't read it at all, but why'd you have to drop it?
I just felt like it really dropped off as far as like plot
I
quality.
I
Okay.
dug
All
the
right.
new volume.
Okay.
Yeah,
I dug the new volume.
the plot changed, Phil, and I was
Yeah.
like, yeah,
Disagree to disagree.
yeah.
Okay. Okay.
And the plot here, I mean, this is the nicest way I can say it. The plot
Uh-huh.
changed, and I wasn't on board.
That's fair. That's totally fair. Yeah, no, I've that's been one that I've seen but haven't really heard yay or nay on. So now I've
Okay,
got mixed
so
reviews.
Dottie is this online influencer, and she has green hair, but
Hmm.
she has really bad allergies too. So she's
Hmm.
always got, snot coming out, right? So it's gross and funny. Um, but that goes to the Book Industry Charitable Foundation. That is extended, not extended, but it's you can get on that till June 9th. Tad, three amazing books that you read this week.
Well, I threw him in the second spot for ones that I was hoping was spectacular, but Condon knocked it out of the park on both his new series of the Earth with
Hmm.
Andrew Eric and Charlie Adlard, and his Ultimate Impact Reborn #1 with Stefano Caselli. Extra points because he used the Spot. The Spot
Hmm.
might be my favorite Spider-Man villain.
Oh
Okay.
man, Blue, right?
Right,
The
right.
Spot's for our listeners that don't know, the Spot is silly,
I
but
mean,
He
he was in
is and
he
he
was in
isn't.
he was in Spider-Verse too, so it's hard to
Yeah,
imagine
yeah,
yeah.
people who don't know about the Spot anymore.
you're right.
That's
He
true.
was
That's
in
true.
the Across the Spider-Verse.
And presumably he
S-
will also be in Beyond the
Right.
Spider-Verse.
Yeah, when is that
Um,
coming out, by the way?
Uh,
Ever?
some point this year, next year. Let me check.
I'll
29,
let you check
probably.
because I should be talking.
Okay.
Uh, n- #2 spot is actually going to go to one that somehow flew under my radar, and I read the first 3 issues this week of Hannah Rose May and Mariana Puglia's Smile for the Camera.
It's oh
Looks like
in
June
27.
18th of next
2027.
year.
Yeah,
Okay.
June 18th
Uh,
next year.
Smile for the Camera is really good, Ted. I agree
It
with you.
really is. It really is. Well, I like everything Hannah Rose May does, which is why I was surprised that it managed to float under my radar. But I saw it and I'm like, oh wait, Hannah Rose May has another book. Let me read these. And they're very, very good. Um, and then the end of the Arab of the Future, Volume 1, A Youth in the Middle East. Riyad Sattouf at Panagraphics was a fantastic read. A lot of other good reads this week. I'll shout out some American Capers, some Barbarian Beyond Bars, End of Life, Dead Teenagers. Everyone Loves a Jewel Thief was really good. Narco was good. Neighborhood Watch #2 was great. Powers 25 #9 continues to just be like both a warm hug and an amazing like mystery Powers story all at once every issue. I liked where Usagi Yojimbo Kaido went this week. I was like pleasantly surprised with how much I liked Seven Wives.
It was
And
good.
Tom King continues to kill it on Wonder Woman. So yeah. So yeah, I don't even know how
Phil?
to Phil, just take a walk because I don't even
Yeah,
Yeah,
know
we
how
don't know
to.
how to we don't know
yeah,
what you're
yeah,
talking about here. A
yeah.
walk with Phil.
Right. I see, and I if I was predictable, it would be a walk with somebody else, surely. No, this week I got my hands on a book that I talked about on here several times. You know, every chance I got. And it was, even though I didn't really have any expectations for it, it was still nothing like I expected. And that was for our One Piece race. That was He Rolled Me Up Like a Grilled Squid by Suge Yoshiharu, which is just a really bizarre collection of vignettes that seemingly were about the author, but also hopefully not about the author, because those are some pretty terrible people doing some terrible things, and a good amount of surrealism. So yeah, I somethinged
T-
it.
Tad and I are both looking it up right now.
Yeah,
No, I already
apparently
know
it's
it.
yeah, it's the
Oh,
so I now have to look up more of his work, and well, I still have to read the essay at the back, sort of, providing additional context, hopefully, details about his life that might elucidate, which parts are fact and which are fiction.
mm-hmm.
But yeah, he's got at least two more books in my library that I'm going to check out, because this was apparently the fifth in a series of collecting his work from the 70s, which is also interesting.
Luffy is breakdancing on top of a skateboard.
Skateboard breakdancing. I'm glad to know
Skateboard
that.
breakdancing.
Yeah, I was gonna say, so it was.
Luffy's totally got the ability to do that.
Right. Well, no, I was going to say that interrupting this, the I was going to say that the a special reason to look at more of his work is that Suge just passed away in March of this
Yeah,
year.
Oh,
So,
he did.
yeah, I didn't realize that. So,
that's too bad.
until like this morning. So, yeah, looking forward to learning more
I
about him.
mean, it was a news item on 22 panels.
I believe so, yeah.
Right.
It sounds like it would be.
Yeah.
So anyway, I am now 691 chapters in week 100. So just under 7 chapters a week. But it's spring break, or not spring break, it's summer break.
Yeah.
Summer break. So hopefully I will start really, really laying on some speed for a while as we have You saved the kids that the government
Do you
was.
do your summer teaching this summer?
I am not. I'm taking the whole summer off.
Cool,
Good for you.
cool, cool,
I'm
cool.
podcasting, reading comics, working at the comic shop,
Yep.
maybe a little bit of travel. I know I'm going to
That's
go up
pretty much what,
to
that's almost
Duluth.
exactly what I'm doing, but like
Yeah.
a little bit different. Podcasting a little bit. You're doing mostly podcasting. Comic shop, working at the comic shop, reading comic books.
Yeah.
Uh,
So, yeah.
a- Anywho,
We
I have not been getting back into One Piece like I wanted to, but I still want to. So that's something.
I
I
Uh,
mean,
hope
your goal is to get back before the new anime series.
okay, I'll do my best.
I guess you was that a week that you missed? Did you see that Netflix is doing a new anime of One Piece?
the One Piece, where
Yeah.
the pacing is dialed up. They're going to do like the whole Green Blue saga in 7 episodes.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I was not on that episode. I don't remember that conversation, but very cool.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say I really hope that you like when you do get a taste for One Piece again, that you just keep it quiet so that you might be able to like Dark Horse return and
Just start
overtake
to
Ted.
just start well that and just start talking about it, the current story. Like I know
Hmm.
exactly what it
Hmm.
Right,
is.
Right?
right.
Yep.
There we go.
All
I mean,
right.
that's one option.
Unless he's already been doing that and he's just waiting for his moment to strike.
That is always possible.
No. Hey, guys, did you both read Copra Volume 8?
Yep.
Okay.
The death of Copra.
Yeah. What'd you
The
think?
death of Cobra.
It
First of all, I don't think that they're completely dead. I think that
well, I
there is
mean,
an opening.
but I land firmly on the other side of that. I think that's the end of the series,
I
It's
think it's meant to be.
yeah, yeah. I mean, the
But
fact that it ties up loose ends while also leaving them as loose ends for the characters, I think to me is
right.
what felt the most like climactic. Like, okay, this is over.
No, that felt a lot like a
I felt open-ended, like
yeah, what
that it
I
wasn't.
felt like was I am done with Copra for the foreseeable future, but
Hmm.
I am not going to end it in a way that if I change my mind 5 years from now, 10 years from now, whatever, that I can only tell prequel stories or
But
whatever.
like, he's also at the point where he'd have to like the cast is. I mean, sure, everybody could just start waking up from their comas together, but like
Yeah.
it seems like
Or you
most.
could not tell that part. I mean,
Mhm.
this volume of Copra has worked a lot in real time.
Mhm.
But he could choose to do 10 years later and then just tell what needs to be told in backstory, is what I
Well, I
mean.
guess, and that's where I guess what I'm saying is that it really feels like, I mean,
What it feels like to me is that if you asked him right now if he was
mhm.
ever going to do Copra again, he'd say, I'm done.
Yeah,
But if you were a good friend and you asked him, can you possibly imagine it? He'd say, I can imagine it. I just don't think it's likely.
Yeah. I agree.
I mean, I
Um,
kind of wonder what like what they say now is that they always expected to get back to it, but I kind of wonder if you had asked um Brian and Michael about Powers
mm,
10 years ago, if they were gonna like ever return to it. I don't know if you would have gotten the answer that would have led to Powers 25.
right. And I guess my point is that a return to Copra would be a different book from what it has been,
Oh
you
yeah,
know? Yeah.
that's
And
for certain.
yeah, and so I guess
But
the
it then also makes me that much more interested in what's next for Michael Fife.
oh yeah, yeah, I am
did
very excited
you guys,
for what
did
he's
he
doing.
do all 50 issues by himself?
Yeah,
Hmm.
Okay. So I
And
mean
not
that
just by himself, like with few
very by
exceptions.
himself.
printed them, had them sent to his house. He mailed them out to or the stores that were getting them. Like he
Hmm.
didn't run the
Yeah.
printing
I think they were
presses.
people that were getting them more than stores.
Right,
Okay, so being this is
right.
as close to the
Yeah.
DIY as you can get.
Yeah.
Hmm.
I
Like I
think
said,
it's
he
great as a
didn't physically
project that
run the
it's
printing presses,
yeah,
but
yeah.
that's
So
like the only thing he didn't do.
I know. So I hope that he does not do more because I like these packages. He did this compact 50, issue run
Hmm.
of something he did all by himself. So
Yeah.
yeah, what you guys just said, what's going to happen next for Michael Fife? I hope it's something cool. And I like that this didn't end with the typical superhero ending. You know what I mean?
Hmm.
It's kind of different for a revenge comic.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Well, I mean, I feel like what this volume did was he was able to outdo himself with like previously the Ochizan saga was like an event for Copra. It was, the biggest, the high stakes, the all the interdimensional otherworldly Kirby New Gods-esque stuff going on. And I feel
Mm.
like with this one he was able to surpass that. He was able to surpass himself while also then for the very last issue returning to like the superhuman level. Okay, this is what it's like being a person who lived through all this shit, you know?
Hmm.
Like it was the kind of thing where it's like, okay, Floyd is gonna keep doing his thing until he's the one who's getting shot by somebody after him, you know?
Hmm.
Um, and I guess where I was going before is that I think that in that, oh, it's open in case you want to return to it. I think every story is like that. I don't think there's any story that is 100% done, no way to follow up. Like it's impossible. It can't be done. No, if you try
I
hard enough,
mean,
you can continue any story. It's not necessarily going
mostly,
to be good.
I guess what pops into my head,
Hmm.
Cal Penn was hanging out. Forget if he was on a Pod Save America episode or he was on a Love It or Leave It episode. Because Cal Penn worked in the Obama White House. He actually left um, a co-starring role in House to go
Hmm.
work for the Obama White House. Um, and one of the things he talked about that kind of like struck him is apparently he went to the showrunner and said, "Hey, I know that this isn't easy, but like, I really want to go do this. I think it's an important thing to do." And like, he got the response he got in person felt very, "Oh yeah, nah, no problem." Blah blah blah. And when he got his script for the next episode, the character was committing suicide.
Right.
So I don't know how you continue that story. I think there are
No, he faked
ways
his death.
where I think there are
It's not
ways where
necessarily good, but it's doable.
I think there are ways to end things where continuing the story is uh beyond what
Possible.
well, I mean it might not be impossible, but it's beyond like anything that's likely to be tasteful or interesting.
Right. Like, I mean, to take a recent example from comics, what's it? Spider-Man Reign. Who would really want to follow up a story like that where it was already so tragic and ended so finality. But yes, of course you can still dig them back up. But I think like for like Tyler was saying, for a story about revenge, all the best revenge stories like they don't actually end. It's not actually over because revenge is like a
Right.
continuous cycle. And
Right.
so I feel like we got a glimpse of the cycle with the end of this.
Right.
And that's
Right.
what felt conclusive for the reader, even though it's not conclusive for the characters.
Right. Right. So
I mean, one of the things that drew me to the comic book, as far as the DIY aesthetic, I'm talking about the
Hmm.
overall
Oh yeah.
whole series, not just volume 8, but
Hmm.
the simplicity of his hand drawn and
Oh yeah.
hand colored, you know, I feel like it really alters the perception of comic books compared to today's, very slick digital
Oh yeah,
stuff that Marvel and DC are doing.
big time.
Right. And so this brings me back to wanting to buy it and be involved in its creation, like, just maybe if they do another round of something,
Hmm.
because it's someone's legit art piece. And I'm not saying that most commercial comic book writers aren't doing
Hmm.
art, but this is more personal. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And I think it's just awesome.
I mean, it's like up there with, all-time great series. I'm excited to get my hands on hardcovers for these and put on a shelf,
Yeah.
And if, Copra 2, whatever, honestly, whatever his next project is, I would love to read it as it's happening,
Oh,
kind of be part
definitely.
of that.
What do you
Definitely, definitely.
how for you guys, how does
Hmm.
Copra rank in like superhero books like Invincible, Hellboy, or The Boys, or whatever? Like
Uh,
how does Copra fit into that?
I
It's one
mean,
of my favorite superhero stories.
It is.
yeah,
Oh,
Um,
it definitely breaks the top 100, if not top 25 for me, but I don't have like a firm ranking
yeah.
system laid out. Um,
Um, I mean, you cut out for a second for me, but I heard The Boys. I think I like it more than The Boys, and I like The
yeah.
Boys. Um, it'd be harder to rank it against Black Hammer or Astro City.
well,
Um,
that I think I
I
think
it
yeah,
might it
exactly.
might it might it might be able. I mean, for me, just because Black Hammer isn't. I know you guys have read a lot more and loved it a lot more. It's definitely I enjoyed it more than that. And I would even say I might put it above Astro City. Like
No,
I'd have to do a
which
pretty
I mean,
big reread of
it's
Astro
for
City,
me,
but
it's definitely enough in the argument that like I wouldn't be interested in like defending it as worse than Astro City or
yeah,
better than Astro City.
no,
I
right.
but
wouldn't
I
be
will
Well,
say this.
right.
yeah.
Over everything that we've read, Ted, everything you've introduced me to, I will say that Astro City has been the my favorite, the most that's resonated with me,
Yeah.
that kind of stuff. Although Concrete came close, that's
Yeah.
pretty
Yeah.
awesome. But this
And
ranks
in
very
some ways,
high.
I think this has almost as much similarity to Concrete, where
Yeah.
it's very stripped down, it's very personal.
Yep. It
It's just
feels.
ultra
Um,
violent instead of ultra pensive.
Yeah. Uh,
but but it's still like doesn't spend a lot of time with the superhero stuff. I
nope.
mean, the violence of the superhero stuff, but we don't spend time dwelling on the powers. We don't spend time dwelling on like all of the expository stuff that you have in so
Mhm.
many superhero comics. It's like, yeah, just accept it.
Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, not only that, but like I
Which
feel
I'm
wrong.
big on.
I feel wrong even calling Copra like a superhero book just because it's like these are definitely not heroes. Um,
Okay. A super powered book. I don't know.
I
I
mean,
mean, I don't
well,
know
it's
if I
tough because
totally agree with that.
I mean it fits in the genre. It 100% fits in the genre is communicating with it. I'm just talking about like a
Anti-heroes, I get,
yeah. I mean, calling it anything else, but I mean like it's one of those things where it is a superhero book, but there are no superheroes in the book. Like it's
I
like oops
mean,
all villains.
oops, all villains. I like
but
that.
Yeah.
but but I mean, like, how are we now defining our superheroes?
I mean, people with powers in funny costumes. So yeah, that's why I'm saying it fits the genre. It just lacks the heroes.
Got it.
Yeah,
Yeah, you're right.
but I mean,
It's not
I don't know if I
Superman.
buy the idea that Weir is not a hero or um
He's a murderer. He
I,
kills people in cold blood. He
I
strangled a dude and buried him when like
in my
these are
head,
not good people.
I pronounced it were,
Were That's
yeah,
funny.
were
Yeah.
that
Lloyd.
works.
Yeah, and
Um,
so
I mean, but like, so who is a superhero if all it takes is killing one?
Well, that's what do you mean by? Well, that's what I'm saying is that I don't think there's any like. heroes in this book. They're
No, I mean, period, not just in this
period.
book.
Oh, I mean that's tough because I don't. I mean, and that's where again, I think if you're gonna be a superhero and call someone a superhero, murder should generally speaking be off the table. Like once that's like normalized and accepted, it's like okay, I
But
don't know about
but
this.
but
So
okay, so
Wolverine's not a hero to you.
Well,
Okay,
he's
okay.
so
interesting in the universe, but like he himself, like it's not. He's not my favorite guy.
but here's my question. Like,
Uh-huh.
I mean, I think Daredevil has killed at this point,
Yeah,
but
Yeah,
like
yeah.
when he saved Bullseye, was that a heroic act?
no, and that's what makes Daredevil interesting. And I'm not saying that like one murder makes him a villain, but I think the way Weir killed the guy is pretty villainous. It's not, it's pretty psycho killer. It's not
He
like
was
that's,
also a pretty bad guy.
he was exactly, but that's kind of it is that like it's the way that the violence is portrayed is not heroic in the book. That's the way I'd put it. And it's one of those just
I see,
because,
and this is where like I
uh-huh,
would totally get behind a an argument that there's no such thing as heroic violence.
That's why I called it revenge because
mhm,
it is more visceral than just like a hero that has to kill because there's no other options.
right,
It
right.
is much more emotional. It's more real life. It is more.
Right.
And I think
Because
that
among
like,
other things, I like refuse to believe
uh-huh.
that there hasn't been collateral damage in any of Superman's fights.
Sure,
Right,
there
right.
absolutely has. And I guess from there, it's that like part of the difficulty in looking at any like Marvel or DC superhero as either, oh, are they good or bad is the shifting nature of continuity, and the way that their personalities change so drastically over time that it's almost like different eras feel like different types of what have yous. Um, but like I also do think that in portraying like an action hero type character, for them to be like a superhero, I think that the defining trait is when they're more concerned with saving people than beating somebody up, you know? And I think that a lot of the current trend of superheroes has leaned more on that dark and morally ambiguous stuff. And it can be interesting when it's done well, Daredevil case in point, but I don't think it should be like the baseline metric that everyone is judged by on heroics.
Yeah. What's Ted looking up? He's got his phone out,
He's
people.
got a
No,
smart
I'm
he's
responding to
he's
a text.
oh okay. I was
Oh,
like,
come
he's
on.
ready
Right in
he's
the
ready to
middle
one
of
up
our
me.
show.
He's ready
It's
to
No,
show
come
related.
back.
he's
Yeah?
not. It's show related. Would you
Hmm.
like to share with the class, Tad?
Little teaser.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the Saga book club thread.
Okay. Well, hey, so any last words on Copra? Because this is the wrap up for all 8 volumes. We've been doing this for 8 weeks talking about
Hmm.
Copra. Well, actually longer because there was one where like, we're going to talk
Oh
about
yeah.
this
We did
instead.
volume one and then there was C2E2 for 3 weeks.
Yep.
Or 2 weeks, I think. Something
Yeah.
like that.
What do you guys
But
want to read? What do you guys want to read next?
I've got a couple things in mind. I've got checked out from the library right now. Hello Sunshine.
I'm not
I've
sure
been
what
It
that
meaning
looks
to
really
is.
read
good.
that.
Yeah, it looks really good. I haven't read it yet. It's like a spooky mystery book sort of thing. By Keezy Young,
Okay.
looks really good. It's
Yeah,
about mental
Keezy
health
Young.
and uh and slightly scary kids looking for another missing kid.
All right. What was the first one you said? I gotta look it up here.
Hello Sunshine. That's the only one I've said.
Oh,
Yeah.
I thought you were talking about two different
No,
things.
that's all one
Okay.
book.
That's all one book. Okay.
All one book.
Like, okay. So, I think that would be a lot of fun. We should do that. See where I'm gonna try and get it into my shop as well. Every time a book is recommended or talked about on here, you guys, I always go
Nice.
get it in because if people who are listening in my neck of the woods. Hi, Mom. No, I'm just kidding. She doesn't listen to this.
You should put up a billboard for the show in Sioux Falls.
How much would that cost? That'd be crazy.
I don't know. I don't know.
I mean, in Sioux Falls, probably a lot. In Laverne,
There we go. There we go. Laverne
Hey,
billboard.
hey, if we could make like one of those like
I mean,
flag
you could put
things.
you're on a corner. You could just put it in your yard.
Yeah. I'll just make like political signs, but it's just for us.
That's
You
amazing.
know. Best comic podcast on the internet.
There you go. Fighting words.
Yep. All right.
I
Well,
don't even know if I agree with that.
You got to stand up for us, Tad. Come on.
I think we're a singular entity. I don't think there's any other podcast that you can really compare to us.
No. I don't even I don't
Best. I mean,
I don't
I don't like
I don't even know what this is.
the word best a lot to begin with. So, I mean, that's part of the issue.
That's
Yeah.
why
It's too hard to
funny, because
compare
it's
so
so
many things.
because it you know the arrogance behind saying the best, I think, is
Mhm.
funny for us because we're not arrogant people, and so that's I
Most
don't
That's
know.
where the humor
prolific.
comes from.
We
Yeah.
we we
I
Yeah,
might be
agree.
the most prolific.
Yeah. Yeah.
long-winded.
It's going with like a
Yeah,
baseball
yeah,
strategy.
yeah.
If we could
We
win
we got some
like
we got some
100 out
long.
of 300 podcasts, that'd be great.
All
Yeah,
right.
yeah.
Well, let's get on to. I mean, anything left that anyone wants to say about that? About Copra,
No,
or should we
I think
move
we're ready
on?
to wrap.
All
I
right,
think we're
three
ready to
books we
wrap.
hope. Well, we got to talk about next week. Three books we hope will be spectacular. Ted,
Exploit number 3 from Laura Hudson, Tim Leong, and Emilio Pina at Mad Cave. I have been loving this series.
I've been loving Mad Cave.
Possibly,
I mean,
yeah,
holy buckets,
possibly
everything they
even
do.
more than Hab number 2 from Joshua Dysart, David Lapham, Bill Sienkiewicz, Jacob Phillips, Charlie Adlard at Bad Idea has also been amazing. Has been Is Ted Okay? Number 4 from Dave Chisholm at Mad Cave. I know that 5 Gears in Reverse, a criminal book from Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips, is amazing. Um, and I know that at least the first quarter of Halloween Boy, Last of the Halloween Boys from Dave Baker is amazing because I was reading that when it was time to start recording. Um, Couple of manga coming out this week that look really good.
But
Record Journey Volume 1 and See
backing
You
up a
in
second,
Universe.
what do you think of Where Does the Rainbow End? Are you into
I
that?
love that book. I
I
loved
am.
that book.
I am. I'm really
I love
enjoying it.
everything from Francesca Perillo and Stefano Cardicelli.
Mm-hmm.
Remember they had the robot love story that I loved too.
Well, yeah. I
Um,
mean, this is
yeah,
really good. But
yeah.
yeah. So,
So yeah, lots of good comics next week. Spencer Ackerman's plug-in. Did you hear about Mimi Green number 1? He generally doesn't go wrong, so I'm looking forward to reading that. We got some more Brutal Dark next week. We got some more Kill All Immortals next week. Actually, I should move In Your Skin number 2 up to books that I know are spectacular because I did read that earlier today,
Nice.
and it was indeed spectacular from Aditya Bidikar and Som at Image Comics. So yeah, lots and lots of good stuff. And you're going old school, Phil, with
I
your giant
am.
size graphic novel,
That
Trade Raider
is,
Pick.
yeah, it's a new edition of Camelot 3000 by Mike Barr and Brian Boland over at DC. If you haven't read it, it's actually surprisingly good. There's parts of it that have aged questionably, but they're trying. That's the way I'd put it. And it's probably the biggest book of Brian Boland's career, doing interiors. So for that matter alone, it's well worth seeking out. If you haven't checked it out, definitely go for it.
awesome, guys. It's been fun, but I'm going to go eat dinner.
Yeah,
I
Me too.
suggested
I could smell the
5:30.
dinner.
I suggested 5:30, not really thinking it through that I would be hungry.
right.
Yeah.
So anywho, Thanks for listening, everyone, and we will catch you guys after the next page. Later.